Welcome back to another episode of Hubler Automotive Group Coach's Corner. It's been a break for us. No one likes a break. This is a great show. I'm your host as always, Reese Byerly, joined with my co-host Zach Reese.
Yep, glad to be back.
Yep, we didn't like the break, but we're glad to be back with you guys. And today we are joined with our guest, Franklin Girls Cross Country coach, Ray Lane. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Good to be here.
So the last time we were on the show, we were optimistic about you guys maybe reaching the point where you are today. Mm-hmm. Everything's gone to plan. Sectionals, conference and county have went well. Give me a rundown of, you said you guys had a tough stretch coming up. Mm-hmm. You guys did the things you needed to do to get here. Tell me what's went on with that.
Yeah, last time we were here, we felt like we were on a good path. Like we had seen some things in races that we felt like we were making progress. And then we came out at the conference meet and probably had our best race of the year. We had some people step up that hadn't been quite at a level that they were running at that day. And so we went into a meet that we felt like we could win. We felt like we should win the conference meet this year and really had our best performance of the season up to that point, and were able to win pretty convincingly. We had 5 girls that were all conference that day, which I'm not sure if we've done that before. If we have, it hasn't been very often. But then we knew kind of the real test was going to be the next week, facing Indian Creek, who at the beginning of the year, on paper, looked like they were probably going to be the favorite. Center Grove is always really strong. So we knew that the next week at the county meet was going to be the real test. And so when we were able to come back and win the county meet the next week pretty convincingly again, that was pretty exciting. But then it was kind of weird, because then the next week we went from being the hunters, trying to go after Indian Creek, who, again, like I said, going into the season was probably a little bit ahead of us, to then they had a chance to kind of adjust to what we did the week before at the county meet. So to be able to execute the races that we did and still able to pull off the victory at the sectional was pretty cool. It's our third sectional in a row, which we've only won 5 total in the whole history of the Girls Cross Country program. So to be able to win 1 felt amazing back in 2020. Last year we felt really fortunate to be able to go back to back, and now to have 3 in a row is really unprecedented and just a really cool accomplishment for the program.
So I know last time we actually talked about senior leadership and almost how it seems like the whole team's bought in going into this now playoffs time, as you could call it. How do you feel like the whole team is committed to that?
It's kind of weird, because when we go from the conference and county down to the sectional, we actually drop a lot of people on our roster. We're only able to race 7 at the state tournament races, and we've gone from everybody was running at the county meet, everybody was running at the conference meet. So really you go from a pretty big group to a very small select group. And the funny thing about this group is they've all had success, at least our upperclassmen, whether it's been in cross country. Again, we have Lauren Clem, who's on the basketball team, who obviously has had great success. Riley Wilkeson, who on the tennis team has had great success. So the people that are upperclassmen on our team have been there and done that. So it's kind of funny, because sometimes you got to get them to take a moment and realize what they're doing is cool. It's not common that we win sectionals all the time, but for them it is. And so there's a sense of calm from our upperclassmen that then kind of trickles down to the younger kids that maybe are going through it for the first time, haven't really been counted on this level before. So they bring a real sense of calm to what we're trying to do. And then, like I said, we just show up on Saturdays and do what they know how to do.
So talking before the show, you guys last couple meets have all been at home, and this week you guys will travel to the Shelbyville course. Tell me what you feel the difference in the courses, and obviously you guys went there yesterday to kind of get your practice run, you figure out the course. Mm-hmm. Tell me how you feel the difference in courses might affect your team, or what's your game plan for that? Yeah,
our girls are excited to finally get away from Franklin. We've run on our course 5 times this year, and the last 4 weeks have all been at home. So I mean, it's nice to have that home course advantage, and obviously we have some things that we hold over other teams because we get to practice on it anytime we want. But at the same time, that gets boring after a while. And so after last Saturday, everybody was just kind of oh, finally, we can focus on going somewhere else. Shelbyville is a different animal from our course. It's a flatter course, but it's a fast course. But it's one that runs time-wise usually pretty similar to our course. So mentally it's a different challenge, where Ours is a lot more compact, and you always kind of know where you are because of our familiarity with it. When you go to Shelbyville, it's a bigger area, longer stretches. You go to some places where like you're not going to be around a whole lot of fans, so there's like you got to create your own energy, you got to create your own focus, and you're running against like 20 of the best teams in the state. Like our semi-state is a very tough race, so it's like physically it's a different challenge, and then also like mentally, like handling the situation of who you're racing against this week makes it a little bit different than what we've done the last several weeks.
So you just actually touched on the fans, and I was going to bring this up. Actually, how do you feel the fans and the parents have actually bought into the cross country? I know it's kind of different than some sports where you actually have to run with the people to keep up with them. So how do you feel like they have bought in?
It's one of those, we have great fan support. Like our parents have been phenomenal since I was in high school. Like, and it's something that they do a lot that helps make our girls' life and the guys' team as well very easy. Like our parents are up at 6 o'clock in the morning coming and then getting ready to set up our team tent. So when we show up, like our kids are literally just walking into a tent and relaxing. And some that's not common for every group. It's so we always feel support. Like it's one of those, like it's different. We laugh about it, and like it's not Friday night, right? It's not under the big lights. There's not a big blue crew representation or whatever. But like we just like we understand it's a special sport and it's a different sport and it appeals to a certain crowd. And it's really cool though. Like the ones that do get out and see a cross country meet, like they're like, I had no idea like it was like this. Like our semi-state next week or coming up this Saturday, you got 20 pretty good sized schools and you have a lot of fans there, and it gets loud. Like you wouldn't think it, but like it's really intense when you're running on a 10-meter wide course with screaming fans on both sides of you. Like it gets pretty fun, it gets pretty intense. So it's a different experience, but it's really cool in its own way. And like when people give it a chance and show up to it, like they usually marvel at how people can run 3 miles that fast, and then be like they have a lot of fun because you don't just have to stand in one spot, you get to move around a little bit and chase after it. So it's just a different experience.
So like you said, 20 amazing teams heading to the semi-state. Not that you want to kind of single out some teams, but what are some teams that could maybe pose you guys a threat, or you guys are looking to see how you match up with them? Well,
we finished, we were a little bit disappointed with how we raced on Saturday. So really the main goal is kind of bounce back and be a little bit better than we were this past Saturday. You kind of mentioned the break that we just got on, and the weird thing about our state tournament is that Saturday is leading into fall break, and then we have a whole week where we're off school, and then the regionals at the end of fall break. And it's just a weird stretch, and it's not a unique problem to Franklin. Every team looked like they didn't run quite as fast as they ran the week before. So our goal is kind of bounce back and be a little bit more competitive, like try to maybe beat Batesville and Indian Creek who got us this past week. And if we're close to East Central, who won our regional, then we feel like we have a chance to maybe be in position to steal a spot. But we have to be really good. So like when we started taking a look at like the teams, like you could single out any of them, but we really feel like if we can get close to East Central, who won here, then we'll be in a spot that will probably finish pretty high.
So just ending it off here, going to semi-state, obviously, how do you feel like you can encourage the team to obviously do their best? I know it's a very up and down sport. It's not super consistent all the time. How do you feel about that?
Again, we feel pretty good about the work we've done, and it's one of those that if you get to this point in the season and you're at the biggest race of the year, it's one of the most, in some years it's more competitive even than the state meet. Like if you can't get excited to be in that environment, then like you maybe check your pulse a little bit. So like they've been working since June, they've been working since July. Like this isn't the kind of group that's just going to go, okay, it's our last race, let's just phone it in. So I think like whether we advance, whether we don't advance, like we always step up to the line and they give it their best shot, and we're excited to see what we can do this Saturday.
Where is the state meet at if you guys happen to make it there?
It's the semi-state's at Shelbyville, and then the state finals are over in Terre Haute.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you guys. We'll all be cheering you guys on. Go up to Shelbyville and do your guys' best. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Zach, another great episode. And that was another episode of Hubler Automotive Group Coach's Corner.
Hubler is proud to be the official sponsor of Franklin Athletics. Score massive savings on all your favorite brands. Plus, get our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. For all auto needs, just click drivehubler.com. Let's go, Grizzly Cubs!